But that's the last question, and I urge you, obviously there's tons of questions. Ask these questions of these people. They would like to answer them. So after the last question, probably everyone's going to want to scatter. So thank you so much for coming. This has been amazing. I think it's a real message to our politicians that we care who represents us, and we want to be informed about policy issues. So we're going to be watching.
This question is more on a macro level. You're probably familiar with the CETA agreement, trade deal is being negotiated actually within the next few days. There's a fifth round of talks in Ottawa. The talks put at stake this is a macro issue that is going to affect municipalities right across Canada, and it's certainly something that needs to be looked at, and it's being dealt with without a lot of public scrutiny. There's not a lot of public forums debating the issues that are around us and stuff. So anyway, just to give some background for people who may not know about it, there's a Sherman report that was put out that covered a fairly extensive analysis of the CETA agreement. The CETA agreement is a Canadian-European trade agreement, and under the CETA agreement, municipalities would no longer be able to restrict tendering to Canadian companies or stipulate that foreign companies bidding on public contracts according to some preference for goods and services or workers. As a result, municipalities would lose one of the few and most important tools they now have for stimulating innovation and fostering community economic development, creating local employment, and achieving other public policy goals. From food security to social equity to a whole number of issues. That's just kind of giving a preface on it. That's another question. The two-pronged question is, the first question is, what is your position with regards to this trade agreement, and how will you deal with this on council in terms of the whole time frame ahead, the weeks, months, even years ahead? There's legal costs, loss of support for local contractors, products, all these kinds of issues are pretty big issues, which a lot of people don't have a handle on, but these are things that are going to affect people that they don't understand. Second part of the question is, would you lend your voice to other municipalities across Canada that are demanding that this trade deal be put before the public and be modified to protect the sovereignty of Canada and the autonomy of municipal government?
Yes, I believe any trade agreement that isn't under any kind of public scrutiny has to be really looked at. When you just mentioned that the CETA agreement, right? CETA agreement, nobody can look at it. The public scrutiny can't really look at it, so it's going to be initiated onto the municipalities. Now, we have to have municipality jurisdiction on a lot of things that we happen in town, not only in Newmarket but in the surrounding area. For that agreement to have a stranglehold on the municipality of Newmarket I don't agree with it at all. We have to make our own decisions. That's why we elect the council. That's why it's called democracy. And we should just nuke this agreement entirely. I don't go for this agreement. Newmarket has got to have a voice on its own ridings, and that's why we are elected in the council, and that's why you're here to vote for the best person to represent your interests, and not an agreement that's going to dictate what we do.
First of all, I will say that I'm probably one of the people that are most active here in terms of protecting local businesses and especially local farms. I've been an advocate for the local farming industry. I've been an advocate in working in Canadian made and Canadian products with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And I think your question was, you know, how would you lobby, how would you influence the municipalities? So some councillors in the town of Newmarket have a great history with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. That's where the federal leaders attend. And the voice from the councillors of the town of Newmarket, I guarantee you, is heard at FCM. Okay, sorry. Also, the Association of Municipalities in Ontario. I sit on the Farmers Market Network for the Greenbelt Alliance. That's for all the farmers, all of the Greenbelt in Ontario. I've established the farmers market here 11 years ago, and I've worked with several municipalities to start a new farmers market. I know that for a fact our garlic industry here in the Hall Marsh was killed because of the lack of food securities. It's no longer viable for farmers to grow garlic here because it's a lot cheaper to import it from overseas, from Asia and China, and it has killed the whole cash crop in Ontario. So if it has done that to our agriculture, imagine what it's going to do to our manufacturing, what it's going to do to our service industry and so forth. Not to say how that is going to impact training people in our country, developing jobs and research in our country, and that's where the greater impact is going to occur over the next decades if CETA is passed. So no, I'm a firm believer in buy local, make it and grow it, as we say at the farmers market, and sell it here. And definitely anything I can do to lend my voice to stop this agreement, I will do.
Absolutely agree. Products, goods, and services should be procured locally whenever possible. That keeps the money within the community. It creates jobs. It does all the sustainability that we're talking about. But let's just clarify what CETA is. It's a free trade agreement that was developed by the government so that they can initialize export to the same country. So as we're opening up our borders, we're also getting the other borders opened up for us. So it's great for manufacturing from the other aspect. So I think you don't squash it completely because I do not agree with it, but it needs to be modified. It needs to be modified to protect our natural resources, water, lumber, all of the resources, the oil sands, has to be modified to protect that. And on a municipal level, it has no place whatsoever. And that's because that would mean that the procurement department in Newmarket would have to go out to tender to everyone in the world, and they have to declare that and show it to the federal government. That would cost way too much in time and expertise, and I just don't think that's relevant at all at a municipal level.
CETA stands for Canada-European Union Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement, and Europe's largest corporations want access to Canadian service contracts. These contracts are potentially worth $100 to $200 billion. They want contracts to serve our cities, our hospitals, our school boards, our public agencies, and they want the local municipalities to suggest a ban on local service companies doing these, performing these services for us. That's my understanding of what's going on. I wonder if it's the same sort of situation that we have with the Bell Canada service contracts. If that's an example of how this works, where good jobs are being farmed out to workers halfway around the world, that our employment's at an all-time high. Why would we want to do that? I find it a very annoying thing with the Bell, too, that they do that. I would never support this under any circumstances. I think it's ridiculous. Thank you.
Okay, and we have arrived at the end of our evening. Thank you so much. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Fred? Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you like to? I thought you did. I was pretty sure. Okay.